Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Hurley, and in this video I'm going to take you through step by step how to do your Christmas song recording project in my new preferred method using an iPad and GarageBand. Now GarageBand is a proper music recording app for iPad or for Apple desktop or laptop computers. It's become very much a standard piece of software that a lot of people use, so there's a lot of help videos on the internet, and it's a really good application for musicians to be a little bit familiar with. So I'd really like everyone who has an iPad to give this a go. This video is specifically for the iPad version. I might do a desktop and laptop version one as well, but I noticed that pretty much nearly every single student from going through the last recording project, nearly everyone has an iPad, so I thought I'd make a how-to video on an iPad for this one. So let's dive right in. Let's go to our iPad view. Okay, just make sure that's going. Okay, now there's a couple of little things you want to just make sure are set up and ready to go first. If this doesn't work for you for any reason, some of these might not, you might not be able to do some of these steps. And if it doesn't work, like say you might have an old iPad that can't update, or if the login troubles just too hard, don't worry so much. You can still use your old recording method like voice memos or anything. If everything else just goes completely wrong, you can even send us just a video and we can extract the audio out of a video. But let's get going with the iPad GarageBand method. Now, to search for things, I like to swipe down and bring up the search. We're going to go to settings. There it is there. And we're just going to make sure our iPad is up to date. So to do that, we go to settings and general. I've already got general on. And just over there on the right, underneath about, we've got software update. Just tap on that, make sure our iPad's up to date. Mine already is up to date. And that process might take quite a bit. It might take half an hour or so. Just let that download, pause this video and come back when that's ready. And then we'll go on to the next step. Now the next step is to make sure that your iCloud drive is synced up and logged in on your iPad. If you go up to the top here, you'll notice up the top there I've got my wife's iTunes account signed in. You should hopefully have your iTunes account signed in there, but tap on that area and tap on iCloud over here, and just make sure that iCloud drive checkbox is turned on. That way your iPad will be updating your files in iCloud Drive with iCloud. Okay, if that kind of doesn't work there, it will ask you to sign into iCloud Drive later on in the process if this isn't looking like mine is. So don't worry if that one's not working just for now. See if it will let you sign in with iCloud Drive a little bit later. Okay, the next step is we're going to make sure we have GarageBand installed. Go to our search, swipe down, type in GarageBand there. If you haven't got it installed, it should still pop up, but when you tap on it, it should take you to the App Store and ask you to download it and install it first. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and open that up. Let's have a little look. And there we go. It's actually asking me to open which file do I want to open. Okay, I might escape out of that for now, and because the last thing we want to make sure is that we've got an email account. You need to be able to find the email that I've sent this video on. In the same email I'll have links for what Christmas songs your child will be practicing on and will need to do their recordings. So, and the best way to do that is to have your mail app signed up with an email account. Yeah, you can always forward it if it's a different email account that I've sent you the email on. Just forward it to whatever's on this one. I don't know if it will work. I know that some people prefer to log in to an email from a web browser. Like if you have a Gmail account, you can just go to your Safari or your Chrome web browser and log in there. That might still work. I haven't tested that, but the best way, easiest way I do know works is if you use your mail app. So mail. And then if it doesn't have an account, an email account signed up in it, it should prompt you to log into an email account. And then once you do, go ahead and find the email that this video was sent on. It won't look like this. This is just a little test one I did to make this video. But the link will look like that. It'll say the name of the song. I'm going to demonstrate using Santa Comes Marching In today. And then it should say iPad GarageBand file in the link like that. So just tap on that from your iPad, obviously. It won't work on a desktop. Tap on that. It will download the file. And then it will bring you to this page. This page is just saying it's done. Okay, tap on done. Now, then it brings up your recent files, and you can see the file is up there in it's the most recent file. If you want to find it on your actual iPad, on the left here, just tap on iCloud Drive, and that's where it should be on your iPad. It's not there on my iPad because I've shared it with myself and it knows that I've already got it somewhere else, so it didn't download it again in this location. My original file is actually in iCloud Drive in the GarageBand folder. But when you download it, it will just be there in that main iCloud Drive folder. Okay, you can go ahead and move it into another folder or anywhere you like. Just keep it inside the iCloud Drive, otherwise it won't sync up with my one. That's the cool feature about doing this method. As soon as you do a recording and save it, it will automatically appear on my original, and I'll be able to access your recording like that. Very nifty. Okay, so once you've downloaded your file, you can go ahead, you can, just remember mine's in there, you just tap on it and it will bring it up in GarageBand automatically, and we're ready to go. Okay, so now this is the tracks view, where you can see all the different tracks, all the different layers that we've got going all at once, and you can highlight the different ones. So I'm just tapping on the microphone buttons on the left there. You want to be really careful which one you've got highlighted, because if I go ahead and if I highlight the backing track, that top one is the backing track. See how it says Santa Comes Marching In? Band, that's the band backing track. If I press record now, it's going to record over the top of the backing track, and that would be a little bit disastrous. Let's do it now. Ready? Record. Okay, it's recording. Oh no, I'm recording over the top of the backing track. Whatever will I do? Stop. Let's go back to our tracks view. It's opened up, when you press record, it opens up in this microphone view. When you open the file, if it opens up with this view, or ever just goes to this view, if you see up at the top left there, there's like the third button over from the left. There's like a button that looks like those lines. They're stacked up a bit like bricks. That's the tracks view. If I tap it, it turns back to the microphone button. See how it's turned into a microphone button now? So that goes from our microphone view back to our tracks view. Okay, oh no, you can see how we've got two audio regions on our backing track file there. Now I haven't really wrecked it, because up between the play button and the FX button, there's that back arrow button, which is undo. Yay! Undo button is your friend. If you make a mistake like that, if you accidentally delete someone's track or record over the top of someone's track, just press undo, and yeah, just be careful. All right. Now I'm going to show you how you can send me your recordings separately, so that if somebody does muck yours up here in the GarageBand file, I'll still have it separately. So between one of those two ways, we should be able to make sure we don't stuff up everyone's recordings. Okay, so now to make our own recording, we don't want to record over the top of one of these. We want to add another track, an empty track, to record into. Okay, now the plus button just across there is how you do that. Tap on the plus. Now you can add lots of different types of tracks, lots of different types of instruments. We've got a microphone for recording with a real instrument with a microphone. We can, have drums or keyboards or lots of weird, wonderful, awesome robot drummers and fancy instruments. But we're just going to go with the microphone one because we're recording ourselves with a microphone. So tap on that. It takes you back to the microphone view. This might be a good opportunity to test your sound level. Can you see over there where the green is flashing with my sound? 1, 2. Ooh, those loud sounds went right to the top. We want to avoid that red area up the top. So if I clap, I'm going to make sure I clap a bit gentle. Let's test it with our instrument, okay? Okay, that's looking pretty good. Getting up into the yellow, or a little bit orange is not too bad, but red we want to stay away from. That was going pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go back to the tracks view. And you can see I've got my nice new empty blank track to record into. Now, when you do this, there might not be just the 2 tracks there. There might be like 5 or 10, whatever students' recordings there. When you do your recording, you don't want to get interrupted by all those other instruments. You want to hear just you and just the backing track. So I'm going to, before I start recording, I'm going to tap on Mr. Lavis's recording. And right next to the FX button, there's the 3 lines with the 3 circles button. That's the settings button. See how it's highlighted blue now, that button next to FX. And that's going to give us the track settings that we can fiddle with. Now, that little speaker button that's crossed out, that's the mute button. We're turning off the sound for that track. So there we go. It makes it grey, and that means we're not going to hear Mr. Lavis anymore whenever we press play or press record. Okay, now let's get rid of all that nonsense by pressing that settings button again at the top. Now, here's the part we have to be really careful. You see how I've got Mr. Lavis's part highlighted? Yeah, if I press record now, it's going to record over the top of Mr. Lavis. So I need to remember to select my track, so I record into my track. Okay? All right. Now, last thing before you record, make sure you've got your headphones plugged into your iPad, because if the backing track gets heard by the microphone, your recording is no good. I can't use it. Okay? I need your recording to be just you. So headphones on, so you listen to the backing track in headphones, and you can test that by, if you press play without your headphones, you shouldn't hear anything. You should only hear it in the headphones. Okay, let's do our recording. 3, 2, 1, press the big red button. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do for now. You might like to record just that bit, or a bit more, or a different bit, or the whole thing. Now, if you do want to record just a little bit, like say if you're a beginner and you've just learnt the bit at the end, please do make sure that your track is that you're recording from the beginning, right? Now, if you see that ruler along the top, that's like the timeline. If you tap on the timeline, you can drag the cursor so that it plays just from that spot. Please don't record just from the spot that you want to actually play. See, next to the play button, there's that back arrow with the line. That's the rewind button. Please make sure that you always record from the very beginning, so your recording is from the beginning, and that way I can drag your recording to the beginning, and it should line up perfectly. If you record from over there, then I'm going to have to do that fiddling again to find where it's lined up. So always record from the start. So if it's over here, you can go over and press play from wherever. Let's have a listen back. We just press play. It's a little bit busy with the backing track. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like with just me. And now I can do that by highlighting the backing track, bringing back our settings, and muting the backing track. So now only my track is blue. Let's press play. There we go. Yeah, that's what we need. We need your recording to be just you. So that is ready to go, except it might be, if I get like 10 or 20 recordings in there before I get a chance to go in and save them and get them out of there, it might be nice for you guys to rename your track with your name. So if you just tap on anywhere in that blue region, you tap once to select and tap again to get some options. You can tap rename and click the X to get rid of that. I'm going to call it Mr. Hurley because that's me. Mr. Hurley, done. There we go. So now I can clearly see that's Mr. Lavis's track, that's my track, and the top one's the backing track. Okay, now here's the really cool part. To save this, we just press that button in the very top left corner that looks like a sheet of paper, and that brings us to all our files, and it saves it. And because it's saved in iCloud as a shared linked file, it's updating it to the cloud, and it's also when you do it, it'll put your recording in my original GarageBand file. So that's kind of all you need to do to send it to me. Yeah, very, very cool. But just for safety, just in case somebody accidentally records over the top of your thing and doesn't realize it, let's also send it manually, okay? So let's do a long tap and hold until those options come up. Tap on share. Now it's very important to do this in GarageBand, not in files, because it won't bring up this. This is like a GarageBand thing that's happening now. We want to export it as a song and then leave it as the default. High quality is good. Share. And go ahead and select your mail app because I want you to email it to me. Now it's saving it as just, I'm pretty sure I left it with just my track on. Okay, so however the mutes are set up, whatever is going to play when you press play, that sound is what it sends. Okay, so then it brings up a nice email. You can put your band director's email address in the top. If your band director is somebody else, but my email address is benhurley@teachingservices.com.au. There it is there. Tap. And there it is. It's attached. And go ahead. And you might want to just change the subject to put in your name and your school so I know whose recording that is. Because that will not send me the GarageBand file with your name on it like we just did. This is a completely separate file now. It's a completely separate audio recording, and the name of the track doesn't have your name in it. So if you can put that somewhere in the email, just your name and maybe even your school you're from, that would make things very easy. Press share. Yeah. And that should send me your recording as a separate recording. Very good, and we're done. Okay, we're actually done on the last step, but that last exporting and sending it as a separate file, that's a really good idea just in case. All right, so guys, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about GarageBand. As I said, if you do have an iPad, I'd really like you to give that a go and see how if it works for you. And if it doesn't, I should also have a couple of other emails with other methods you can use, or you can always just go back and use the original method. If you've already sent your band director a recording, you can always just send us your recording that way. Okay, have a good time recording your Christmas songs. Can't wait to hear them. Bye bye.